opens up the imagination and possibilities of a global digital currency. The blockchain technology that comes with Bitcoin has put our society in an incredible time. Huobi is actively involved in this wave of rising digital assets in 2013, helping to enlighten Chinese people in digital currency investment. Huobi has made a brilliant achievement in taking the highest market share and received the highest trading volume in China. At present, Huobi Group is opening a global integrated digital asset transaction services with a strong focus on customer service. Huobi Group has set up operations and service centers in Singapore, Hong Kong, Seoul, Tokyo, Beijing, and Shenzhen. With our new base in the beautiful Singapore, Huobi Group will bring quality educational and service experiences to millions of users of digital assets in 130 countries and regions.
Welcome to Huobi Talk. I'm Fiona Loh, your host for the program. We're streaming live from the beautiful Singapore where the Huobi Pro office is located at. Huobi Talk is the #1 talk show that gives you insight into the world of blockchain, delivering to you global developments in blockchain and bringing you data-driven, content-rich information with the stories behind the technology. Join us as we dive deep into conversations surrounding blockchain and the endless possibilities of the future of cryptocurrency. Today we're bringing to you news on the latest trends in cryptocurrency at the moment. As we're streaming live, we're going to make this as interactive as possible. So if you guys have any comments, any questions, please feel free to drop it off into the comment section of this video itself, and we might get to answering your question later on. Now we've got a little surprise for you today as well, so to find out what that is, you've got to stay tuned all the way to the end of this program. And some of you might be walking away with a little something special from us today. Now for those of you tuning in, are you currently users of Huobi Pro? If yes, you're probably familiar with the concept of centralized exchange, such as the New York Stock Exchange, for example. And this process is actually very similar. In this episode, we're going to talk about decentralized exchange. And on the show today, where as a user, you get to experience a whole different spectrum of not needing to register and using your wallet directly to trade, and also no deposit is required when you trade on the blockchain. Now there is an emerging new type of exchange called the decentralized exchange. These exciting new decentralized exchanges will give the future a new development. Huobi Pro has some of these tokens listed on our exchange, and some of you may be wondering what they are and what they really do, what it's all about. So stay tuned as we uncover more information about these tokens. So today we invite special guests, Loi Luu, co-founder of Kyber Network, and he'll be representing the decentralized exchanges. And for Loi, he also has a PhD in computer sciences and recently published a thesis on cryptocurrency and blockchain from the National University in Singapore. And for Tyler Wu, he is the Huobi Global Business Head representing centralized exchanges. Welcome Loi and welcome Tyler.
Hello everyone. Thanks for having me.
And how are you guys feeling tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's great to be here at Huobi office and talk about decentralized changes and centralized changes as well.
Now, Loi, it's great to have you on the show. Recently, you were featured in Forbes 30 Under 30. How does it feel?
Well, it feels great. It's a great achievement. But I couldn't do it without my team and other people who have helped me so far.
So I'd like to ask you the name Kyber Network. Where do you get the name Kyber from?
So Kyber is actually from the Star Wars movie, right? So I'm not a Star Wars fan, but in our team we have a team member who's a diehard fan of of Star Wars.
Of Star Wars.
Yeah. So when we are trying to find a name for the project, I asked him, hey, what are the cool names in Star Wars? And he mentioned a few names, and when he told me about Kyber, I asked him, what's the meaning of Kyber?
So what did he say?
So he told me, okay, Kyber is a crystal in Star Wars that gives the powers to all the lightsabers, right? So I think a bit about it, and I said, okay, this is the name that we should choose because we want to create some token that actually gives the liquidity to other tokens, right? So Kyber is a name we must go for.
Well, that is a very interesting story about Kyber. Now, I'd just like to ask, because I'm curious myself, why do you choose to enter into this industry?
I guess it all started back in 2014 when I was doing some research on cryptography, right? And then back then, suddenly people only talk about Bitcoin because of the crash. The price moved like all the way from $1,300 back to a few cents, right? And yeah, so I got interested and I read more about it, and it completely got my interest. Right, so I started doing full-time research on cryptocurrency and blockchain since 2014, and I actually just got my PhD on it.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Now, what about you, Tyler? Why did you choose to enter this industry?
Well, personally, I really want to explore more in the world and always looking forward to join a very fast-paced environment. So when I meet with Huobi, I thought this is the right place I should to join in. Also, I found the business model in this industry is kind of the only way, or not only way, it's big way to let the normal people get into this cryptocurrency world. Also, the third part is when I meet with the founder, Loi Luu, he have very good culture and insight in this industry. And our value in Huobi is don't be evil. So we can talk to our colleague very straightforward, and but with a lot of respect. So I'm love this place.
You love Huobi.
Yeah.
That's nice. And of course, today we will be taking a look very intensively about the decentralized and the centralized exchange industry. And of course, we have once again Loi representing the decentralized exchange here to give us your thoughts. And also Tyler himself will be expressing his thoughts and his views with us about the centralized industry. So now let's delve into the topic proper. Let's take a macro overview of the entire exchange industry. Now we've got a diagram over here, which is the existing models of exchange. Tyler, can you walk us through and tell us what this diagram means?
Okay, sure. So basically, there's no exchange before this kind of a service was built up. So because, for example, when we are getting into a market, one want to buy or sell something in the market, if there's only one person in this market, that not happen, right? So we provide a platform to bring all the seller and the buyer in the same place and do the match. So let the efficiency go higher, let people easier to buy and to sell. So from that point, the centralized exchange have been started. So also it's divided into two kind of exchange. One is normally it's kind of a Huobi exchange. The other one is OTC. But OTC is not exchange. Actually, it's a kind of a advertisement platform. Let people to trade with each other. It's peer-to-peer. So actually, we also divided into two parts for the exchange. One is fiat money to cryptocurrency exchange. That means you can use your US dollar, Singapore dollar to buy a Bitcoin, and the cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency is BTC to ETH, etc. Yeah.
And also, can you tell us, since you're representing centralized exchange, tell us what is this exchange all about?
Well, centralized exchange is is operation by a group of people. Actually, it's normally it's a company, right? And we have a lead, we have a organization to make decision what kind of assets do we accept, and that means do we list of our exchange. Also, we make decision about the transaction fee, and also we have developed a lot of system to evaluate. And for example, we have a smart chain evaluation system to help us to understand what kind of a project and assets is good and which is not good. And also we have built a lot of security service on this platform. For the exchange part, so the matching, the trading and the carrying is all in this central database that happened in the same place. Yeah.
And also to you, Loi, can you tell us what is all about the decentralized exchange, for example, for Kyber? Well, speaking about Kyber, actually, I'd like to ask about this. I think many of our audiences out there will be very interested to find out, because I heard that Vitalik, which is the founder for Ethereum, took on Kyber Network as his very last project. And how do you even get to know about Vitalik in the first place?
Yes, this is one of the most popular questions that I get to ask, right?
Yes.
So back in 2015, when we wrote one of the first academic papers about Ethereum, we sent it out to Vitalik and asked for his feedback. And he was kind enough to send us a very detailed response, in which he gave several comments here and there. And we kept talking and keep a close relationship. And a few months after that, he visited Singapore, and we spent I guess more than 3 hours at an US campus. And I think I bought one of the most I think the cheapest coffee ever for Vitalik. Yeah.
And also, are you guys still in contact right now?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we keep talking, and every time we have something we need his advice, I just talk to him.
So were you expecting him to give you a reply, the first time when you sent over your papers to him?
Honestly, I did expect to receive something from him back, right? But I didn't expect that he could respond in a long emails with so many points like that. And after that, we keep talking as well. So that was the part that surprised me. Yeah.
Okay, now so going back to what we were speaking about, sorry for the digression. Over here, what is a decentralized exchange? Please tell us more about that.
Right. So as Taylor just mentioned, right, in centralized exchanges, all the operation, including user registration, user verification, listing, sending order, matching orders, settlement, and everything happens within a single centralized exchange, right? Centralized servers. So in decentralized exchange, we generally want to decentralize this server or this operator. So now every operation in decentralized chains happens in a decentralized network. And generally people build it on some decentralized chains like Ethereum, or we have a few other platforms like BitShare or Waves. Yeah. So that means there's no single party controlling order submission, user registration, and things like that.
Well, traditionally speaking, a transaction is usually a centralized transaction that happens between a buyer and a seller as well. So how can an exchange become decentralized, Loi?
So this is due to the or the environment that a decentralized blockchain offer to the developers, right? So with a decentralized blockchain, we can actually run and store and maintain an order book or the matching algorithm within the blockchain itself. So that means we can actually run every operation of an exchange in a decentralized environment.
Now, going back to the history of decentralized exchange, when it first all started, can you provide me with some statistics?
So there are several decentralized chains. The first to start off is BitShare. I think it was started at 2013, and after that we have the famous EtherDelta. It was launched in October 2016. So last year I think was a year of decentralized chains with several decentralized chains, including Kyber, SWAP, 0x, and Omisego. And interestingly, they were all built on Ethereum. But if we look at the next graph, we can see that the trading volume of decentralized chains are still pretty small, because they are still in the early days, right? For example, if we look at EtherDelta trading volume, the daily transaction standing just under $4 million USD dollars. which is pretty small compared to centralized changes.
Yes, I do have to agree with you on
Yeah.
that. I feel the numbers that you just stated is somewhat a little bit low. I'd like to get Tyler to weigh in on this. Can you tell us what is the daily centralized trading volume in the global digital assets landscape?
So as I remember, for the Huobi, we have 1.4 billion in total for the trading volume, but I don't remember what exactly recently the daily trading volume in the world other platform. Yeah.
Okay, and also, as you mentioned, the trading volume for Huobi Pro stands at a little bit higher. So if you compare the statistics with what was presented by Loi, it was actually about, I guess, less than 1% of Huobi's daily transaction. We can say that, I guess. All right, let's move on to what we have next here. Now, delving deeper into the differences between a centralized and a decentralized exchange. Now, here we have a chart from Huobi Blockchain Research Institution that shows the transaction speed is low. Okay, so we have the differences right over here. Transaction processing speed is slow for decentralized. Now, would you care to weigh in on that, Loi?
Yeah, so I guess this is due to the infrastructure of public blockchain. So every time the user want to trade, right, they need to create a transaction and publish it and to the public blockchain. And normally it takes something like 12 to 14 seconds on Ethereum blockchain to get a transaction confirmed, which is like pretty slow compared to a few milliseconds on centralized changes. Yeah.
So moving down to the next, liquidity is low for decentralized as well. Now, I would like to ask Loi once again, what is the meaning of liquidity?
I would say, roughly speaking, liquidity means how much you can sell or buy some asset, right, without affecting the price of that asset. So if you look at the fiat market, the liquidity is pretty high because you can sell and buy a few $1 million of Singapore dollar, right, without affecting the price of Singapore dollar. Similarly for Bitcoin, you can trade a few million US dollar of Bitcoin without changing the price of Bitcoin itself. But if we have some smaller coins or tokens which has very small market, right, an order of like $1 million US dollar is going to cross the price of that coin easily.
That's right. So in comparison to the decentralized exchange, we've got high liquidity for centralized, of course. Matching orders, not necessary for decentralized. It's a yes for centralized. Real-time maker market, not necessary for decentralized, correct? And a yes for centralized. Assets custody, user personal wallet or smart contract for decentralized, and exchange center for centralized. Settlement transactions on chain, yes for decentralized and a no for centralized. Now, open source code, for very obvious reasons, it's yes for decentralized and a no for centralized exchange.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, operating cost. Okay, I'm seeing low for decentralized here. Can you tell us why is that the reason, Loi?
I could say because the operations of decentralized chains is decentralized, right? So it's going to be paid by thousands of people in the network. So that's why it's lower. So we did, like at Kyber, we do not need to maintain any server to maintain the order book and to do the matching for all the orders at Kyber. So maybe Taylor can give more, view on the cost at a centralized change.
Yes, of course. That's why on the other spectrum over there, we have high for centralized exchange. Tyler, please tell us what's the reason.
Oh, because we have to hook our own server to do the match and to provide the security. So we have to get more cost on this kind of format. So also because in the decentralized exchange, everybody can maintain this system instead of one central part. So we divide the cost into very small piece, so to everybody. So it looks like low, but I'm not sure the total cost, how much is it. So Yeah.
Okay. Now, trading fee, onto that, we've got high for decentralized, gas and trading fee. So what's that all about?
So in decentralized chains, right, usually user need to send a transaction and to the public blockchain. And for every transaction, they need to pay some transaction fees, right, for the network to process. For example, on Ethereum, user need to pay for the gas that the transaction is going to cost. So due to the infrastructure public blockchain, this fee is usually a little bit high. And of course, the trading fee is the same for centralized and decentralized chains.
Now the next one, whether or not it can support fiat currency, I think this was touched earlier on with a model from Tyler, right, telling us that it's a no for decentralized and yes, centralized exchanges can support fiat currency. Now let's go on to take a look at this. We've got a feature comparison chart between some of the decentralized exchanges. Loi, can you explain to us what are the differences over here?
I guess we can categorize them into two different groups, right? On one hand, we have Kyber, BitShare, Waze, and probably Liquid as well. These are the exchanges that do everything on chain, right? And we have a different group including EtherDelta, 0x and SWAP. So they have some sort of hybrid model in which they have the off-chain order book and the settlement only happens on chain.
Now, we have heard from both exchanges, knowing that these two are very fundamentally different. Can each of you perhaps list about 3 advantages of each of your exchanges? Perhaps let's start with Tyler.
Okay. For the centralized system exchange, we provide a very good liquidity and depth for our users. Though we can provide a service to our customer to buy and sell instantly. When you see the price, you can just make order and make a deal. So the second one is, I think, the security, because security is about everything in this crypto world. So we have here the top tier security guy in the company. We are running 24/7 through the entire year to protect our users. Also, we have a Huobi User Protection Fund, which is in terms of to protect our user. Just something particularly happened. If something happened we cannot control, we can use this fund to protect our users. Yeah. The last one is customer service, because a lot of newcomers to get into this world, they are not very familiar with this technology, because it's not very similar with the traditional bank. Yes. So we have to provide a lot of service. Like we have 100 people over the world to deliver the online chat, telephone and email to help our clients. Yeah.
And what about you, Loi? Can you help us list 3 advantages of decentralized exchange?
I guess the first advantage is also security, but we achieve security in a different approach. So for most decentralized changes, what we do is we open source our code, invite people to audit it, right, and see whether they can find any security flaw, which is opposite to what centralized changes is doing. So they achieve the security by obscuring what is going on under the hood, right? So it makes it makes things like harder in order to exploit the exchange. But I guess for us, by open source seeing everything, we can have public scrutiny before we can actually launch our exchange. The second advantage is being transparent. So that means because we execute everything on the public blockchain, so people can actually see what is going on with our exchange, right? And there's no room for manipulation of order matching or even the price as well. I guess the third point is the ease of integration with other decentralized application or smart contract on the blockchain. For example, at Kyber we run everything on chain, right? So any other smart contract can just easily integrate with Kyber by sending a call between 2 different smart contracts, right? So for smart contract to integrate with a centralized exchange, which is I think a little bit hard at the moment, because there's no way for an on-chain entity and an off-chain entity to talk to each other.
All right, let's take a short break, you guys, and let's take a look at the comment sections. I think ever since we started about 30 minutes ago, the comment section has been moving really quickly. Over here, I think, let's see, we've got a interesting question here. Let's pluck that out. Now, this is a question I think is directed for Loi yourself.
Okay.
As you know, Kyber Network doesn't work on some regions and countries. Is that about decentralization?
Right, so Kyber Network, the model that Kyber follows is a little different. Is a little bit different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to, involve different parties to, first of all, allow people to access to our platform, and
Mm-hmm.
secondly, to provide the liquidity. So currently, we have only one single party for each of the role, and they are all based in Singapore. So they have to comply with the local rules here, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the local laws here. But in the future, when we have more parties involved, more people integrating with Kyber, more people providing liquidity in Kyber, then we will be able to support everyone.
All right, so later on throughout the program, of course, this is a 1.5 hour program. If you have more questions that you would like to ask any of our guests, whether it's Loi or Tyler over here, about decentralized or centralized exchanges, we'll be more than happy to take your question. Okay, so now let's delve back to where we left off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we talked about decentralized exchanges, what it does, but is decentralized exchange facing any type of current issues?
I think there are two major issues with decentralized changes. First of all, I think it's the user experience, because most decentralized changes are built by gigs, right? By the technical people, and for gigs. So that's why they require some sort of technical understanding from the users in order to use the decentralized changes. So it's really hard for mainstream users to actually interact with the exchange and use the service there. And the second part is liquidity, right? Because first of all, because it's hard, so not many people are trading there. So now, if users want to trade on decentralized changes, they cannot find any counterparty to trade with them. So liquidity is a major problem in decentralized changes.
And I also heard that for decentralized exchange, for Kyber itself, you guys are currently using the ERC20, the standard of the ERC20. Can you please tell us more about what that is?
So I think ERC20 is an industry standard for creating a crypto token on Ethereum blockchain. It is a short form of Ethereum request for comment number 20. So this is basically an industry standard for everyone to create their own crypto token for their application, right?
All right, and let's take a look at this one over here. I think we've got a graph over here that shows the valuation of the more well-known decentralized exchanges. As you can see over here, we've got SWap, Kyber, 0x, Lever.j, and Go. And some of these projects have already are already listed on Huobi Pro in 2017. Okay, and on today's developments in the decentralized industry, Huobi Pro, as I mentioned, has already listed them. I'd like to give the time to Loi to introduce to us how Kyber can solve the modern day issues to the decentralized exchanges problems that you just mentioned earlier.
Sure. So first of all, Kyber use different approach to solve the liquidity problem. If you look at the design of Kyber in the next slide, you will see that we work with a few reserve or liquidity providers in our platform. So these people, they are already plugging into our platform, right? And every time user want to trade with Kyber, we talk to all the reserve or liquidity providers and find the one who offers the best rate, and we offer to the user. So that will guarantee liquidity in our platform. And secondly, we run everything on the smart contract. So that means our chain is going to be secure by a large decentralized network, right? Regarding user experience, so we want to work with all the popular wallets. We want to integrate with other platforms so that the user can just trade directly from there instead of like going to a third-party website and trusting the website to safeguard themselves before trading with Kyber.
Well, now since we're on the topic of Kyber, and you guys were launched yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so can you share with us some data that you've collected for, I think it's more than 24 hours already.
Right, so first of all, the yesterday launch was meant to be a pilot launch, right? So that means we do not open to everyone. And we wanted like to test our platform on mainnet with a reasonably large user base. Yeah, so we got some really encouraging result. We got like I think up to around 250 trades, and the trading volume is more than 100,000 US dollars within 24 hours. For testing phase, I think it's a really good numbers for us, so that we can actually test out everything that we want to test before we launch publicly.
Perfect. Of course, I hope everyone here, we hope that in the near future to come, when Kyber officially launches after April, everything will be a smooth success for you guys.
Yes.
Now, having to hear about both exchanges, decentralized and the centralized exchanges, I think both of them do face some issues. They do have their shortcomings, but the question is, can we strike a form of balance between these two exchanges? Perhaps drawing from the strengths of the both of them, and coming back to Huobi Pro. It's been around for, I think, more than 4 years now, isn't it? So, Tyler, from your experience, do you think that it's possible to create this kind of balance?
Yeah, actually, we have a new platform called Haddex, which is mixed with decentralized exchange with centralized exchange. So, what we do is we have a very great new discovery in this industry. So we are the first one to mix the two type of exchange together. So which means is for the voting part, we use a decentralized system to let people to freely to join us to vote your ideal project in our platform. But we can use the trading and matching mechanism in the platform to do the exchange. So we quietly mix the two very well. Yeah.
So you're giving the users the autonomy to decide what kind of tokens that they want to work with.
Yes.
To list. So for Haddex, you guys are going to list 5 selected tokens.
Well, right now we have like 60 projects listed on this platform, but after 15 days later, maybe 10 only be selected on this platform. Yeah, it's belong to our users' choice.
Well, I think the users are going to feel very excited about this having the power to also make a decision on behalf of everyone in the community. Now, as we're speaking right now, I know that Haddex is also opened for voting already. Right.
What we do is we are not too concerned about the format of the exchange. We focus on our customers' needs. So if the needs change a lot, so we will provide another solution for them. For example, the decentralized exchange. So we are not consistently stand for a centralized system. We provide a service in this digital assets world to our customers. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, according to the current data that we saw in both of them, even though decentralized exchange is currently not the mainstream yet, Huobi Pro's strategy towards decentralization has already started, as what Tyler has mentioned, with the birth of Haddex. Now, what is the future of the exchange, and will you see more users pending towards decentralized exchange, Loi?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think many decentralized exchanges are being introduced and going to address most of the major issues that previous decentralized exchanges have, right? So that is a positive trend in this ecosystem.
And also, as decentralized exchange might become one of the trends in the future, what do you foresee will be the future of centralized exchange, Tyler?
For as I mentioned before, we are not concerned about the format of the exchange. We are constantly to focus on our customer and the market trends. So if the market need more decentralized system, we definitely want to do that. So no matter what previously we do in the past 4 years, we will go into this decentralized system in the future. For example, we have a HT token right now. It's kind of a experiment, trial for this decentralized system, and also we have a Huobi chain, which is prepared to the next level of our exchange. Right.
Yeah. So if I may add something here,
yes,
right?
Of course.
I think in the future, both centralized changes and decentralized changes can coexist, right? Because I think centralized changes play an important role in the fiat gateway, right? And also it has a speed, it has a volume, right? Yeah. So decentralized changes will get better, but I think both of us can coexist and expand this ecosystem to more mainstream users.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like to add any more things to what Loi has just said?
Yeah, because for now, I think the decentralized system is belong to the people who have already have a lot of knowledge in this area. They can do it by himself, but for the majority, they have to use a platform which is centralized. For example, we have a lot of match trading and clearing service on this platform, and also customer service to help them to get into this world. Right. Then we can mix those two kind of exchange together. But I think the people may not know what happened behind of this exchange. Yeah,
exactly.
And also, I'd like to track back a little bit. I've got a question here for Tyler from our community here. Is Huobi Pro the same as Haddex?
It's a little bit different. For the listing part, it's a little bit different. For example, in the past time, Huobi Pro will have used our smart chain evaluation system to evaluate what kind of project looks like and get approved. Then we do the listing. And but for the Haddex, we use a voting system. It's kind of decentralized, so it works like another way. So it's belong to the community who will support this project. So, but for the trading, for the matching mechanism, it's all the same.
Right. I see.
Well, also to summarize what both of our guests have mentioned today, we do see a bright future for decentralized exchange to have a chance to be a value circulation hub for exchange services. Like what you just mentioned, you're hoping that more people will pander towards decentralized exchange for that. Centralized exchanges are still currently the mainstream. It will be the entry to trading, while decentralized exchanges can supplement the services of trading. However, no one knows what the future of these exchanges will be. I think it's safe to say that only time will be able to tell. Now, without further ado, I think we can just enter into the next segment of the show, which is game time. But before that, I think we should open the ground to some more questions from our community. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, we're open to that. Okay, so for those of you guys tuning in to us right now, if you have any questions for both of our guests, please feel free to fire away at the comment section below, and of course I will get to answering your questions systematically. But of course, we promise you a sweet surprise towards the end of the program, and we're going to reveal it to you right now. And so here we go. Okay, so we will be posting the questions here. I think we have a total of 8 questions.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 from Loi and 4 from Tyler. And the first 50 users who responds with the correct answer will get 1 Huobi token, one of it, credited to your Huobi account within 24 hours. Now, to answer, simply leave a comment in the comment section. And so here are the rules. So very importantly, this is the answer format. You have to get this right, you have to nail this down. Also, even if your answers are correct, we have to disqualify your answer. So here's how it goes. You need to input your UID, the 8 8-digit code and then your answer at the back. Okay, so this is how it goes. Well, if you're unclear about where to find your Huobi UID, here's where you can find it. Okay, click on your registered email address at the top right-hand corner and select Account and Security if you're using the website. Okay, once you've done that, you can get your 8-digit UID code at the Basic Information tab. Well, if you're looking at your mobile app, whether it's from your mobile phone or your tablet, you can take a look at the picture on the right. Okay, on the bottom right corner, you can see the account icon. Click on it and you will see your 8-digit UID code. Okay, so simple as that. So now let's go on to see what are the questions. Okay, question number 1. Loi, can you do us the honor of reading that out?
Sure. So the question is, what is the name of the movie that Kyber Network got its name inspiration from?
Okay, so we mentioned this is a very popular movie. This should be quite an easy answer. Okay, so remember to submit your answers in the correct format. The first 50 users, we're going to give away 1 Huobi token to 50 users per question. Okay, so fire away. There we go. It's coming up, the answers very fast.
Yay.
I'm paying attention. There we go.
Nice, nice.
Yes, so keep your answers coming. 50 users, that's quite a lot of people that we're giving away. In fact, feel free to drop us a greeting if you'd like to. We've got a message over there, a question. Number of exchanges are brewing. What is the competitive age of Huobi and
Kyber?
And Kyber, yes. Would you like to take the question, Loi?
I guess for Kyber, I think we have made like very significant number of partnerships that are going to integrate with Kyber and introduce the traffic to Kyber as well. And I think we have a novel design for our exchange that makes it simple and can also address the liquidity problem in Kyber. So with that, I think we are going to be one of the most competitive decentralized exchanges. Yep.
And also the question up to Tyler as well. Does Huobi sees themselves, is there an edge, or do you think there is an advantage of people choosing to use Huobi as a platform?
Yes, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of advantage, like the security and the liquidity, the depth, and also the custom service. So I think it's the best choice to choose Huobi as a trading platform. Also, we have a lot of service, kind of like, for example, our smart chain evaluation system, and also we provide a Huobi user protection fund to protect our users. So no other bad choice, I think.
Okay, well, the answers are really flying in quick. Now let's very quickly go on to the next question. The next one, I think we should get Tyler to ask question number 2.
Wow.
Okay, this one's gonna be easy. So, what date is Haddex launched the first trading in live?
Okay, so what is Haddex's launch live date? Now go.
Wow,
So 50, yes. So does we got a question from Hanwen. Does Huobi have plans to be a Kyber reserve?
Well, I could say it's a possibility. I guess we need to discuss more.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So Tyler, what do you think about that?
Well, definitely we are open-minded to discuss with all our partners in this industry, because you never know what happened in the future.
Exactly.
So it goes very, very fast. You never know. So we stay in open-minded status. Yeah, welcome to contact us to find out more opportunities to collaborate. Yeah.
Cool,
Nice.
cool. Okay, so now we're still on to the second question, which is what is Haddex's launch live date? This one, I think people are struggling a little bit. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 answers so far. Well, if you don't know it yet, if you're joining us new, if you just joined us, we're going to give away to 50 users 1 Huobi token if you get the answers right. Then we're going to credit the token into your account within 24 hours. So I think tomorrow at about 9 p.m, you will roughly know whether you are a winner or not already. Okay, so as we are doing this, please feel free to keep dropping us questions that we can get Loi and Tyler to answer. Someone is asking, what is UID? UID is your unique ID on your Huobi account. Okay, so I think let's flash the method to check your UID. So if you're using your website, once again, click on your registered email address at the top right hand corner and select account and security. Okay, then that's where you see your 8 digits UID. And also, if you're using a mobile app from your tablet or your mobile phone, it's at the bottom right corner on account. Click on it and you will see your unique ID already. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Alright, answers are flying in very, very fast. That's good. Okay, let's move on to the third question. Why? I think this one we should let Loi ask the question.
Sure, this one should be easy. When did Kyber Network's pilot go live on mainnet?
When did Kyber Network go live on mainnet? Okay, answer away, guys. Okay, so we got a question from Ellie. Ellie's asking, what's next for Kyber this year?
A lot of things. So we have several plans in our roadmap. So we want to support, first of all, cross-chain trade, and people can trade Bitcoin and Litecoin with other ERC20 tokens in our decentralized chains. We also need to work with more partners, integrate Kyber with more platforms, so that the users can just directly use Kyber service from their own platform without actually leaving to other website and do the trade over there. Another thing is we are aware of the scalability problem in Ethereum network. So we are also working on our own scalability solution. It's still under research, but we have made some good progress, and we would love to share more with the community later on when we have the answers.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now I think, well, that's as you said, it's an easy question. Everyone has more or less gotten the answer correct. Now, to nail down, you got to get your user ID in the correct format. So I'm going to flash this to you to show you the quiz answer format once again. So this is how it goes. You need to input UID, the 8 digits, and then your answer. Okay, I think we've got a question for Loi. Could you please tell us more about any progress made in terms of partnerships with or commitments from liquidity providers, given how critical it is to the success of the project?
Right. So in terms of reserve, third-party reserve or liquidity providers, we have got huge interest from the people in the industry. We have received so many emails asking to be a third-party reserve in our platform. But the thing is, we are still testing our code, our algorithm, and everything. So I guess after a couple of months, when we are more confident with our platform, then we can actually let other people use the code and be a third-party reserve provider in our platform. Next week, we are going to announce, the first third-party reserve in Kyber Network. So these guys, they are really interesting because they develop everything by themselves. They do not need help from Kyber in terms of developing the software and relying on us. They do everything independently. So that's why we are quite certain about their ability. So we are looking forward to their contribution in our platform.
Now let's move on to question number 4. Tyler, would you like to help us with the question?
Okay, the question is, what do you use to vote on the Haddex?
So what do you use to vote on Haddex? We've covered this earlier, so this should be quite an easy question for our audience. So fire away with your answers, as well as if you have any questions for Loi and Tyler over here. Taking another question, I think this is for Loi. Why Kyber doesn't work in some countries?
I think I already answered this question.
Yes, we did. We just mentioned. Yeah. Okay, now next, is it possible to stake Kyber tokens, the platform?
I couldn't say no, but currently no. But in the future, it's a possibility.
A possibility for your users. Okay.
Yes.
Now, everybody is yes, Huobi. Yes, you guys are getting the answers correct. Very good. Okay, let's move on to question number 5. Oh, before we do that, I think if we haven't reached 50 users for each of the questions, I think you guys can still continue to attempt at the answers. In fact, I think we should review the answer for question 1. What do you think?
Yeah, so...
just in case for those of our friends who are just joining us, or if you have no idea what the answer is. So the question is, what does Kyber mean? Yeah.
I guess, which movie
yes,
we
which
get
movie?
the name from, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so I guess many people answer it correctly. It was Star Wars, so yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you who answered Star Wars in the correct format, tomorrow you'll be seeing one Huobi token credited into your Huobi account. Okay, now here we have a question for Loi. How would Kyber deal with funds coming from known scam/hacker addresses?
Good questions. So, I mean, first of all, for the reserve, we are going to do the KYC and AML with them, right? So we want to guarantee that the users are going to get tokens from known entity. But from the user side, if they do not do any KYC or do not register with us, then probably we have to limit the trade value, right? So for example, they cannot trade more than $3,000. If they want to trade more, they need to do some KYC or register with us. Yeah, so that we can know who they are. And secondly, we are going to work with some security and transaction monitoring solution provider. Probably some of you already know the name of the project, like Trace2, and there's another one which is Uppsala. We are going to partner with them to offer better security and transaction monitoring in our platform.
All right.
So I got one more question.
Yes, of course.
So because you don't do the KYC or AML in this decentralized exchange, so for example, some countries the regulation is forbidden some kind of a registration. So how do you deal with that?
So I think we do not do KYC check for some small transaction, right? Like if you trade less than say $2,000, you do not need to do KYC with us. Okay. So it's similar to like when you go to a money changer. Okay. You convert $1 to USD, right? Okay. If you convert like less than, I think in Singapore it's like 5,000 Sing dollars, then you do not need to provide like where do you get the money from and who you are and stuff like that, right? But if you want to trade more than that, then you need to provide the KYC and do the registration with us.
Okay, got it. But
yes.
What kind of country right now do you provide a service?
We are based in Singapore for now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Well, now going back to the previous questions, we've just released the answer for the first question. We're still getting more responses. Of course, when we hit 50, there will be a cutoff. And I think our next question was in relevance to Haddex, which is what is the live date for Haddex? Okay, so that was dating back to the question just now. So what is the answer, Tyler?
The 1st March 2018.
1st March 2018, okay? So if you want to try your luck, you guys, you can try inputting your UID with the answer that was just mentioned to you, and we'll see if you get a Huobi token credited into your account tomorrow before 9 p.m, okay? So now we have a question over here. For big-time traders, do you already have plans on which platform to use for KYC? Will you be using existing KYC solutions using blockchain?
Yes. So we are going to use the solution provided by Trace2.io. So the company behind Trace2.io already, provide KYC solution for, I guess, more than 50 blockchain companies already. So the CEO of Trace2.io is also an advisor for Kyber Network. So we are working closely with them.
Okay, let's take this interesting question that I saw earlier on. I think this question has got to be directed to Tyler yourself. It's asking whether or not you intend to list in the hash.
What?
In the hash. Whether or not you are...
it's a question about listing.
Listing.
The in the hash token.
In hash? Not yet. Sorry.
Not yet. Okay, so now I think we've got a lot of answers coming in for the previous question on 1st March 2018. That is the launch live date for Haddex. Now, going back to our questions, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more questions to go. Next one, Loi, please deliver the question.
Okay, what is the network that Kyber Network is built on top of?
Okay, what is Kyber Network built on top of? We mentioned this earlier during the show, so fire your answers away. Now, taking an answer here from Zook once again. For Loi, you mentioned Kyber's own scaling solution given that the current issues with Ethereum scaling. Could you please tell us more about this?
I mean, first of all, we do not want to go to make this solution public before we actually work out all the technical details. But it's gonna be a state channel solution only for Kyber. So the idea here is, the user, they can do a lot of trade, they can do like thousands of trade per day, and they only need to pay something like 1 transaction fees, right? So they can save 1,000 times the fees that they need to pay for Kyber. Yeah.
All right, and taking a look at this, everybody seems to know the answer to your question,
Yeah,
which
wow.
is what Kyber Network built on top of. Okay, so the answers are going right up on the comment section. You guys can continue contributing to it. As I said, 50 users will be a winner for each of the questions. Now, moving on to the next question, question number 6. Tyler.
Okay, so how much does 1 vote cost when you're voting on the Haddex?
How much does 1 vote cost to vote on Haddex? Okay, so we covered this earlier as well.
Wow.
To give you, do we need to give them a clue on this? Do you think they will know?
Yeah, I think it's not that hard.
Yes, if you paid attention earlier, you guys should know what is the answer to. Okay, so now we have moved on to the next question, question number 6, which is how much does 1 vote cost on Haddex? We've got the answers coming in very quickly. Wow, okay. There we go. That's your answer. Everybody's been paying attention. Okay, keep your answers coming. Keep your answers coming. Make sure they've got to be in the correct answer format. Let's flash it up on the screen once again to show everybody how it's like. Your UID, the 8-digit code, and then you can insert the answer. Okay, for how much does 1 vote cost on Haddex? Okay, let's continue to take questions from our community here. Please continue to send your questions to Loi and to Tyler as well. We're more than happy to answer them on the program itself. Okay, and also before that, let's go on to deliver the next question for everybody. Loi.
Where is Kyber Network currently registered in?
This one, we just talked about it, so you guys should know the answer to that. Where is Kyber Network currently registered in? Okay, someone is asking what is a UID. So once again, a UID is your unique ID for if you have a Huobi account. So I'm going to switch the screen over to show you how you can find your UID. It's an 8-digit code. Okay, so if you are surfing from the website, from the computer, okay, you should be able to click on your registered email address in the top right-hand corner and select account and security. And then there you have your 8-digit UID code. And if you're surfing it from your mobile app, from a mobile phone or a tablet, it should be on the bottom right-hand corner. Click on account and you will see your UID. Okay, so please answer these in the correct format. So now we have a question for Loi. What are the reasons that led you to make Kyber? Now I think we addressed this earlier a little bit
Okay,
on the origination
sure.
of Kyber. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess before Kyber, my team and I, we work on a few other projects, right? One of that is like ONT, which is a smart contract analyzer for Ethereum smart contract. So the idea of ONT is to allow the developer to quickly check whether their smart contract has any security flaws before they actually deploy it on the network, right? And another one is Smart Pool, which builds a decentralized mining pool for all the miners. So if you follow cryptocurrency, you will see that most of the minings happen in some centralized mining pool, right? So we with Smart Pool we built a smart contract which allows people to just mine with the smart contract directly without relying on some centralized pool. So we have, all these projects are like open source and non-profit, and we wanted to target it. We want to target like different communities there. So we targeted developers, we targeted like mining community, and after that we thought why don't we deliver something that which is more impactful, right? So now we think about the users and what is the pain point that the user are having in this ecosystem. So that's why we thought of like building a decentralized chains to help users have a more secure trading environment.
Now we've got a couple of questions from Jason Francis over here. When will atomic token swaps be enabled on Kyber, for example, KNC to OMG or OMG to BAT?
It's gonna be soon, I guess, when we in Q2 of this year.
And also from Jason as well, will Kyber support NEP5 tokens in the future?
I haven't heard of NEP5 tokens. Probably like some tokens on Neo, right?
Not yet. Also,
I will take a look at that and probably answer you privately.
Yes, please. So we've got another question for the both of you, Tyler and Loi. How friendly has government regulations been towards blockchain companies? And do you see this situation improving? Any regulations that you would like to actually see or to have free play? I think this is a very interesting question. Perhaps let's start with Tyler.
Yeah, as I already know, a lot of governments regulate this industry in a certain kind of situations to protect the whole ecosystem, the economic. So after then, I think when this industry get mature than before, they will have another attitude on this. But I think all the new stuff when they merge in the early stage will be seen as something create more problem than the value. So get used to it, I think.
Get used to it. Okay, then what about you, Loi? What do you think?
I think regulation is a good thing, right? Because it shows that now the governments are trying to recognize blockchain and cryptocurrency, and they actually make some attempts to build some legal framework to actually allow people to register, right? So that's good because if you look at the cryptocurrency in the last couple of years, right? So many scam projects happening, and so many people got affected. Legit project like Kyber and many other projects got affected as well, right? You have seen the ICO ban in China and also in Korea as well. So I think we welcome regulation, but we hope that regulation is going to be friendly and still leave us some room to innovate and create new stuff in this ecosystem.
Definitely.
Yeah. But I think all the challenge is also opportunity for the whole industry. So if the regulation comes up very quickly, that means we have a way to follow up. So it's a good thing, I think. Yeah. It's helped this industry. Instead of to let people just do everything they want, a lot of people will be
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, gentlemen. Now, before we continue with the Q&A session, now back to the game where we're giving away one Huobi token to 50 users of each question who have gotten them answered correctly in the correct format. Now, once again, I'm going to flash the format for you guys to take a look at once again. So it's of utmost importance that you submit it in this way so that we can credit it to your Huobi account. Now, to reiterate the previous question that is still hanging, we've got question number 7 from Loi. Where is Kyber Network currently registered in? Okay, so you can fire the question away. That was the previous question for you guys. Okay, so we're going to keep it a cap at 50 answers, 50 correct answers. Now let's go back to taking questions over here. We've got a question for Tyler. Why did Huobi set up in Singapore?
Well, Singapore is a very good place because of the regulation, the government is very friendly. also it's kind of a financial hub for the Southeast Asia. So we chose Singapore as our headquarters to develop all the business all over the world. It's the best choice. For example, a lot of American big company come to Asia, they choose Singapore as the headquarters. We do the way back. So yeah.
Now also going back to the previous questions that has also been asked for, the one that we're actually giving away the Huobi token for, it's our question to you out there who's watching this program. Back to, I think just now we mentioned question 7, now going backwards to question 6. How much does one vote cost on Haddex? Okay, I don't know if we have about 50 answers so far. I just see a lot of answers been moving up the chain. So if you guys want to attempt to answer that one, the question once again is how much does one vote cost on Haddex? Okay, so fire away. Now let's go on to our very last question. Tyler, please help us to ask question number 8.
Okay, because today is very special, so the question is today is the very first day to start voting on Haddex?
Is today the first day to vote on Haddex? Give us your answer. Now I got a question. Will Huobi Singapore be the global headquarter in the future? Tyler.
Yeah, it's gonna be the global headquarters in the future. Actually, now it's
it is already the headquarters.
So also we have South Korea, which is the office in Seoul, and Tokyo, which we have joint venture with SBI, which is SoftBank investment.
Wow.
Also, we have another company is setting up in San Francisco. Also looking forward to the Australia and Europe.
Yeah, nice.
Well, that sounds great. And of course, we're hoping to see more of that pop up all around the world as well. Now, back to what we have on hand here. The question is today the first day that you can vote on Haddex? It's a very simple yes or no question, which is something that we covered earlier on. Now, since we're on the topic of Haddex, I would like to also give the time to Tyler to tell us more about Haddex. What kind of development do you see for Haddex in the near future?
Okay, for Haddex, we created a new community for our users or the project users community. They can easily to choose the option which they want to support in this platform. And after that, we will to transfer the entire platform into our Huobi chain, which is kind of a totally decentralized exchange in the future. But we merged the liquidity from the Huobi Pro, so we can easily to resolve the problem, which is a low liquidity in the other platform. So I think the future is bright. So
nice,
no doubt. Yeah.
Can you explain the name, like why Haddex?
So the Haddex H is instead of stand for the Huobi.
Yeah.
D is A is autonomous.
Okay.
I don't know how to
Autonomous,
yeah.
yes.
Autonomous.
Yeah.
Sorry. So D is digital,
I
A
see.
is assets, and the X stands for
Exchange.
Yes.
Nice.
So that I think clearly spells out what the whole purpose and the mission of what Haddex is. It's an autonomous platform where we can get where Huobi can get their users to use 0.1 Huobi tokens to vote and choose which tokens they want to be listed. Which also happens as 0.1 Huobi token was also the answer to one of our earlier questions. So that one, if you would like to continue attempting it, please continue sending in your answers as well. Now let's take a look at what we have so far. I think we got a mention from Herbert over there saying that Haddex creates a demand for Huobi tokens, so the prices will definitely increase over time. What do you think about that, Tyler?
Well, we do not predict any price on our platform, but I think the Huobi token is really valuable in this cryptocurrency world. Yeah.
Definitely. So as what Tyler has mentioned, Huobi tokens are going to be very valuable in the near future. And so if you guys should really attempt to answer these questions, because as I said, we'll be giving away one Huobi token for every correct answer. That's limited to 50 winners per question. Now we have delivered all the 8 questions out. If you've missed the questions earlier, I think we have repeated quite a number of times as well. Now I think we've got a mention over here from Zook. This is for Loi. This is awesome. A state channel based solution for scaling. Would KNC be involved in state channel payment fees?
Well, I couldn't want to disclose more information, so please stay tuned, and we'll release all the technical details and the role of KNC in that solution later.
So stay tuned for that. Now, okay. As we proceed on, we got another question here. When will Kyber be available for ordinary users, non-KGT holders?
We are still working on it. So because we are still in the testing phase. So if things get stable, then we should be able to open it for non-KGT holders.
Now, would you like to take the following question? How many Kyber tokens are burnt on each trade?
It depends on the trade value, because and also on the price of KNC as well. So you can track how many KNC have been burned on our smart contract, and we are going to keep a public portal so that you can visit and see as well.
Now I think we got one of the users saying, please give me tokens.
What kind of tokens?
Yes, please tell us which are you referring to. And also, if you're talking about Huobi tokens, simply just answer the questions that we've just mentioned. Maybe let's take a quick recap. Let's take a look at the previous
I got a question for...
Oh, yes, please go ahead, yes.
So I want, in this blockchain industry,
yes,
it's very early stage, right? So, for example, in this early stage industry, the decentralized exchange also very early.
Yes.
So how long does it take to get this product to get into the majority society? What do you think?
I would say, Ethereum is just 3 years old, right? But we already have a big community already. So I would say give the same timeline for any other decentralized apps as well. Yeah. So
do you consider the Haddex is kind of the best solution for now to combine the decentralized system with the centralized system for maybe for 1 or 2 years?
Right. So I think Haddex has some sort of trade-off between decentralized and centralized system, right? You have the decentralized voting, but the execution of the exchange still pretty much centralized. So I would say it's some major step toward decentralizing the entire exchange.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now coming back to this, I think we have a question here for Loi. Can you share the most challenge you have in order to get KNC yesterday? How did you do to overcome these challenges?
I would say we needed to build, we needed to deliver a great user experience, right? For our, a decentralized change. Because it's a technical product and it's new. Not many people even know about Ethereum. Not even mention decentralized stuff, right? So that's why we have to make it look like non-blockchain and non-decentralized to mainstream users, so that they can easily use it and stay with us. So we have to work with several UI UX firms. We actually get several designs from them, and we just select the best and use it in our platform.
And I'm also seeing this question from IMC. Will we in the future have the ability to run a private exchange channel between a custom token and Ethereum? Would you like to take the answer, Loi?
No, yes, it's best.
I think so. I mean, with the state channel solution we are building, we should be able to support this. Yeah.
And compliments to Tyler. Someone's mentioning that you're very young.
Yeah, I'm not young. It looks young, right?
Well, Any secrets to that?
Never sleep.
Yeah.
Or it's the other way
Actually,
around? Not.
this industry, we always see sleep is kind of a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
So because the speed is very, very fast. So if you waste time, then you will get lost. Yeah.
Now, this is a personal question from me, just out of curiosity. How many hours do you get to sleep a day?
Maybe 4 or 5.
4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Tyler's so young.
Thank you.
Exactly, Tyler. So yeah, and also, thank you very much. Wishing you a good luck and a productive year, of course, to Kyber as well as Huobi. Now, also another question out to Tyler, personal from myself. Running on 4 to 5 hours of sleep a day, do you think that you will get burnt out, or your love and passion for this industry is so much that you don't mind?
You're never doing this all the time, right? Sometimes you can get a rest. So the most important thing is you have that passion to do the thing you want to do. Actually, I get up by my dream, not the work, right? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, compliments for Loi as well. You are also very young. Now, how many hours of sleep do you get?
Well, I try to sleep enough 6 or 7 hours per day. But I guess I'm older than Vitalik, so.
Oh, okay. Now, but with the Vitalik is very young, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's super young.
He's 24, right?
He was born in '94, so yeah. Sorry, did I just say something?
Also, for now, back onto the topic again. Kyber was just launched yesterday, right? So this is your baby, this is your brainchild. Now, similar question to what I posted to Tyler, it's a personal question. Is this your love for this industry, your passion for this industry, will it fuel you on? Will you get burnt out because you don't get enough rest, or because you're so busy with the developments of Kyber?
Well, I guess, I try to have some balance, right? When I get tired and I don't do productive work, then I just get some rest and be ready for the next day.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, if any of you have done have taken any PhD course, you know how hard it is to get a PhD from a good universities. Yeah, so I guess I have the training and I get used to it.
Definitely. Yeah. And a question from Jason once again. Does Vitalik still advise and contribute to Kyber?
Yeah, he's still doing it. We ask him questions from time to time, and yeah.
So he's still engaged in very active conversations with you.
Yes.
As the as the advisor of Kyber.
Yeah.
Now, this is also the very last project that he has taken on as well. So I think this is very big news for the industry, and also very big news for Kyber Networks as well. So congratulations to that once again. Now, we're going to go into a very special round. So all 8 questions have already been issued to you. Now, once again, check your Huobi account tomorrow before 9 p.m. to see if you're a winner of a Huobi token. Now, this is something extra. Okay, if you didn't manage to catch the questions earlier, this is out for our friends out there. Okay, just do a screenshot of this live video and post it onto your Twitter account. Okay, and the first 100 submissions will get 1 Huobi token each. So we're opening this up to not 50 but 100 submissions. So get screenshotting away of what's happening on your YouTube channel right now. And once again, let's flash the quiz answer format here. You have to submit your screenshot with your UID, the 8 numbers with the screenshot, and send it, and remember to tag us at Huobi_Pro. Okay, with your comments about what you think about this show, any improvements you are looking to see, or you have any more special messages you have for our guests over here, or any further questions. Of course, we're gonna continue to take more questions all the way until 10:30, so get them fired along. And remember, your screenshots need to include your username. Make sure your account, your profiles are not private, so that we can see your Twitter posts. Okay, so over here, do you see any synergies between Kyber and OX, or would this depend entirely on projects built on top of these two? Do you talk to Will Warren? Just three questions at one go.
Right. So I agree. Will and I, we talk a lot even before we did our token sale. So I think Kyber and ZeroX, we have different approaches. ZeroX has their off-chain order book and on-chain settlement, which is nice because I think storing the order book on-chain is a bad idea. But at the same time, Kyber also has a different approach in building our own exchange. So we do not follow the order book model. We are more like a brokerage house, right? We allow people to sell market makers to sell their token and make their own price in our platform, and the user can just easily take all the orders or the existing order from the market makers. So with that, I think both the project have different use cases, right? And I think we should be well coexist together in this ecosystem.
Now I'm seeing a question here from IMC again. How are you going to ensure that the prices on the exchange is fair?
Is this for Kyber or Huobi?
Or fair? Maybe we start with Huobi first.
Yeah.
So actually, the exchange don't know to control the price, and because we just match the order from different part, the maker and the taker. So XDC is you want to buy in a certain price, you can just make order. So if someone wants to sell in this price, yeah, it's done. So also, actually, a lot of people want to do the arbitrage between the different platforms. So if there only difference between the different platforms, someone will buy it and sell it to another platform. So yeah.
Interesting.
What about you, Loi?
So for Kyber, because we run everything on the public blockchain, right? So people can actually see what are the best price, and we cannot manipulate it. And we also want to guarantee a fair and competitive price by having multiple reserve to provide the same token pair in our platform. So if someone provide some very expensive price, then people can just work with other reserve. Yes.
And taking the next question, when will Kyber have charts?
I guess we want to work with a simple interface for the users. I mean, we are still considering, so I am not sure.
Not sure yet.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll put a KIV on that first.
Also, one question for me.
Yes,
so
yes.
is there any difference experience when you use Huobi Pro and the Kyber exchange?
So I guess for us it's more decentralized Coinbase, right? Because on Coinbase you only see the sell and the buy price. You do not see the order book, and you do not see the chart at all, right? So Kyber, use some similar model for token to token trading.
So is any difficulty for the user from Huobi to use your platform?
I guess no, because it will be quite straightforward. They can work with their own private key. They can work with their hardware wallet like Ledger and Treasure, and they can even work with MetaMask and probably later on we are going to integrate with MyEther wallet as well. Okay. Yeah, so there are several options for them to trade with us. Yes.
Now, moving on from here, we're going to continue opening the comment space for... Oh, there we go. We have a question here. Are you going to support any USD stable coins like Thetabase, Ethereum, or TrueCoin? From Loi.
Yeah, so we are still considering. You know that there are some critical concerns regarding Tether, right? And we also looking at TrueCoin. So in the future, yes, we probably list either of them.
And a question out to Loi as well: how to register to become market maker?
Just email to us and we can discuss more, because become a market maker requires some technical understanding. Yeah.
So here we have next question: will you support NEO's stablecoin?
Do you know about that coin?
Alchemint?
NEO Alchemint.
Well, actually, I think we already list NEO on our platform.
No, this one is a stable coin.
The stable coin is called Alchemint.
Yeah, this is new to me as well.
This is new. Okay, we will perhaps answer that maybe in the future if it's listed. And here's a question out for Loi as well. Do you see the larger market for Kyber as being token conversion behind the scenes within dApps or explicit conversion by users?
I would say at the moment, because most of the apps they haven't delivered the platform yet, so the traffic is going to be largely from the explicit conversion by users. But in the future, probably in a couple of years, when people deliver the platform and the need to convert the tokens between the dApps is going to increases, then I think we will see some volume from there.
Now, I think this question is out to Tyler. Any plans to secure Huobi with Hagen's Hagen proof?
Well, it's not it's a lot of work to do. But for this part, I will keep in silence because it's secret. So, but I can, what I can tell to the audience is we have a cold wallet and a hard wallet. So for this part, to protect our platform and protect for our customers.
And here we have, do you list ETN? Electronum. Tyler.
I guess it's for you.
I don't know. Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe you can put this project on Haddex.
Yes. That's actually a very good point to point out. Yeah. So if any of the tokens that our community has just mentioned that we are not very familiar with, they can also vote to put it up on Haddex as well.
That's why we launched the Haddex, because a lot of new project, which is good, but we don't have enough time capacity to go through every process. So maybe you know some very good unicorn. So we have to provide another platform for this kind of project, and also provide this platform for our users.
So I think we're also taking this opportunity to engage our community now on YouTube to also head on to Haddex, because today is the very first day that we're opening, or rather Haddex is opening up for voting, so you can list your favorite tokens that you like to work with in the future on Haddex. And of course, once again, back to what we were saying just now, it costs 0.1 Huobi token to vote. So if by tomorrow you guys are getting one Huobi token, you can actually put in about 10 votes. So And let's take a few more questions before we wrap up this show. Question for Loi: can you share the most difficult challenge to be the CEO of Kyber?
I would say because I got my PhD in computer science, so I'm considered a technical person, right? So I guess the most challenge in working as a CEO of Kyber is that I have to work with lawyers and regulators a lot, and these are the people that I never met in my life before Kyber. So I learned a lot from working with them and how to work with them as well.
And here we have it's a question out for both of our gentlemen here. Do you think stable coins will be essential for DEXs, since they are crypto to crypto and not crypto to fiat? What are the most promising stable coins, and would they be hard to integrate? Would you like to answer the question first, Loi?
I think stablecoin is an interesting concept, and it's great that many people are working on it. So we have, we already have USDT. Which is not ideal because there are a few concerns here and there. There are true USD coin. There are some MakerDAI, a few other asset-backed tokens like D6 in Singapore here. So we are still observing all these stable coins, and we would love to have them in our decentralized change. I think it provides different option for the users, right? Because if the market goes down, then user can just fly over to stable coin.
And what about you, Tyler? Your thoughts about stable coins?
It's a very good question, very interesting, because I don't think there is only stable coins, because it's depend on what kind of business back for this coin, right? So, for example, the US dollar is backed by the government, right? So if this technology is become very low, that kind of coin become not stable. So it depends on the situation. So right now, but I think Huobi token right now is quite stable. Yeah, true. You can see the price.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. That is all the question that we will be taking for now. Of course, if you have more questions for us in the future, please don't stop sharing. You can tweet us. We are Huobi_Pro on Twitter. I'm just going to flash you. These are some of the platforms that you can get in contact with personnel from Huobi. You can also find us on Telegram as well, which is Huobi Pro Official. Again, catch us live on our next episode, which will be going on live on 20th of February. It's going to be an AMA Ask Me Anything session about Haddex. Okay, so once again, we'll be crediting the tokens within 24 hours. So for those of you who have very kindly answered our questions earlier on, please check your Huobi account again tomorrow to see if you have been credited one Huobi token. Otherwise, if you haven't, perhaps your UID is not correct or you didn't submit it in the correct format. Nonetheless, try it again on February 20th. We will be doing this game time once again. And also, thank you so much for joining us on Huobi Talk. Thank you, Loi. Thank you, Tyler, for your time. It was a pleasure having you on our show.
Thanks for having us.
All right, and thank you for the rest of you for joining us on Huobi Talk, the #1 talk show that gives you insights in the world of blockchain. We will see you next week.
See you.